Welcome once again, viewers all over the world. I thank you so much for joining me this evening once again to listen the sharing that the Spirit has for us today. Viewers all over the world, if you have not or are not prepared to live for Christ, then you have not lived. If after this world you have not lived for Christ, then you have not lived. In other words, you have not existed in the world. The sole purpose, the sole reason why God created us is to live for Christ. So if you have not lived for Christ, and if you are not living for Christ, there is one thing that you must know. Satan has stolen your life. The God of this world has stolen your life. And for that reason, you are not actually living. You're not living. You're there existing, but you're actually, I would say, not different from animals. You're not different from beasts. Those who are living in this world without Christ, without the knowledge of His ways, without the shadow of His wings, you are living as beasts. You're not different from a beast. And the same kind an animal lives, the same kind of life an animal lives is the same kind of life that you are living. If you are living your life without Christ, you are living your life without Christ. You have not lived. You are not living. You are not living. That is why when you come to Christ, they say you are born again. Do you know the meaning of that? Born again. To be born means, for you to be born, you must not have existed before the birth. For you to be born, it means you have not existed before that birth. In other words, to be born again means you have actually not existed, but you're now you're beginning the existence of your life in the Lord. Because in Him, He created all things. The Bible says we are created in Him, according as He has chosen us in Him before the foundation of the world. In Him. That's the key word. In Him. In Him. In Him. In Him. And if it is in Him, it will be with Him. And it will be through Him. So viewers all over the world, those who are under the influence of my voice, those who are under the influence of this telecast, those who are under the influence of this voice, if you are not living for Christ, you are not yet born. And therefore, no one knows you. You are not known. You don't exist. You don't exist. Don't deceive yourself. You don't exist. The only way you start existing is when you begin to live the life of Christ. And that is by destroying the old life through faith, accepting the ways of the Lord, accepting the training of the Lord. Let me tell you, Christians, one thing that Christians fear, because it requires a lot of endurance, is the training that God gives us. And sometimes when our life is made easy and simple by blessings, without this training, those blessings lead you to destruction. So it is better to start by training and then into the blessing. But some people they get into blessing without that training. That blessing is destructive. But if at the beginning of your blessing, the Lord convicts you to seek Him, you're blessed. Because it is from that training that the blessing that you receive after leads you to eternity. Thank you for listening to this message.